Sir, we are live. We can start now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Respected our today's speaker, Dr. M.N. Rajeevan, Secretary MoES. Respected President IMS, Professor S.K. Das. All our distinguished fellows of IMS, member of IMS, scientists, retired scientists, working scientists from different organizations, and ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all for this webinar being organized by Indian Meteorological Society on a very important topic, COVID-19 and meteorology. On the occasion of World Environment Day, on behalf of IMS and on my own behalf, I convey my warm greetings to all of you on this occasion of World Environment Day, which is being celebrated every year on 5th June. Little bit I would like to give some background about this World Environment Day. In the year 1972, in the conference, General Assembly Conference, UN Conference, General Assembly on United Nations Conference on the Human Environment, that is famously called Stockholm Conference in Sweden. The conference was from 5th to 16th June. On the very first day, a resolution was passed in 1972 to understand the interaction of human and environment. And finally, the World Environment Day was established on this day in the year 1972. And the first celebration of this World Environment Day was on after 2 years of that 1972, that is on 1974. And the theme of that year was the only one Earth. And before that, the Environment Day, there was a famous forestry engineer. He said once a very famous quote in one of the conference in New Delhi in 1968. What he said was later actually translated into the World Environment Day. What he said, in the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand. And we will understand only what we are taught. This is by Bada Diokkum. So this is famous quote. So from we have to protect our environment and nature. So that began in 1968. This year, the theme of this World Environment Day is celebrate biodiversity. And fitting to this theme of this Environment Day, we are having a very important talk by one of our distinguished speakers, Dr. M. Rajeevan, sir, on COVID-19 and meteorology. This is although a medical phenomena, COVID-19, it is affecting the human health, but it has a cascading effect on various sectors. And today, he will be covering the two important aspects of this COVID-19, one on environment aspect and other on weather forecasting. So we'll be very interested to listen to that. The impact of lockdown also he will cover because of this COVID-19 and how the meteorological things are affected. So without wasting much time, I will request our President IMS, Dr. Professor S.K. Das, to moderate this talk and also give a brief introduction about our distinguished speaker, Dr. M.N. Rajeevan, sir. Welcome to Professor Das, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Patnaik. Respected Secretary MoES, Dr. M. Rajeevan, Dr. Patnaik, our Secretary of IMS, distinguished fellows of IMS, and the members of the National Council, chairmen and secretaries of the local committees and the executive members, and my dear members of IMS. Very good afternoon, and it's a happy World Environment Day. I'm very happy that at this juncture, in spite of the COVID-19, we could arrange this event, and I'm also thankful to Dr. Rajeevan to agree to give his presentation on very important theme. And about these virtual meetings, I am thinking that is the call for the future. Probably IMS and many organizations have to do this type of arrangements in the future. Everybody knows about the World Environment Day, and it has been celebrated across the world on various themes every year. This year, the official host is Colombia, I think, along with Germany. And I consider this particular Environmental Day in 2020 to be a very special one, because this day is celebrated by UN because we want to make the people aware of the problems with the environment and try to rectify that so that it will be habitable, better, we can have a better life. And we're experiencing that. COVID-19, because of COVID-19, we are experiencing exactly that. And it is time to get lesson and change our course of life so that the environment will be protected, and we should not be greedy and extract more from the Mother Earth. And while declaring this Environment Day, the UN has already stated that this bushfire in Brazil, USA, Australia, and locust across East Africa and to some extent in India, and also COVID-19 pandemic, they have specifically mentioned about COVID-19. These all demonstrate the interdependence of humans on the web of life in which we exist. And in the last 4 months, we have seen the various phases of the COVID-19. And as you know, more than 3.8 lakhs have already led their life all over the world. And I got the statistics that more than 1,000 are infected every day in the world. You know all these statistics, and it's a sort of uncertain period we're going through. And we feel the fury of this COVID-19 because of its rapid speed and the short span of the impact time. The most important thing is that, and you can imagine now, what will be the effect of climate change, although in a slower time scale. I'm sure the impact will be much more. We're not realizing that, but we are realizing COVID-19 because of the short span we encountered this. Although the exact reason of COVID-19 is being debated now across the world, there are various theories coming about. It is definitely true, literature says, that humankind is destroying the natural environment at an accelerating rate, and due to large-scale deforestation and vanishing of the ecosystem, human populations are often facing the precarious health conditions. And this because we're coming across new pathogens. Pathogens are the main issues today. So climate change, deforestation, environmental degradation, these are all connected. And now it is coming to the impact of the climate change on human health. I'm sure more research work will go on. And there are examples of Ebola and severe acute respiratory syndrome in the past. According to detailed estimates from the pair of independent research teams across the world, more than 8% of the greenhouse gas emissions have reduced during these 4 months. This is again the statistics available in literature. And despite this drop in 4 months, nobody is expecting that there will be a severe change, because people are expecting a V-shaped recovery of these greenhouse gas emissions. We will again go about emitting more and more greenhouse gas, so it will recover in a V-shaped way. And some researchers are expecting that some results may emerge for the governments to think whether low carbon emission agenda can be pursued with stimulating how to stimulate the economy with low carbon. Probably new data will come about. And closer to our topic, you know that there are various studies going about, and there's a paper in Current Science, I think, where one scientist, distinguished scientist, have written that lockdown period has given an opportunity to get new set of data, which otherwise we would not have got, because this lockdown period, not only in India but across the world, has given us occasion to get some environmental and weather-related or climate-related data, which we can utilize in future to get a lot of valuable information. And also, there are some papers floating in the social media and emails that are coming. That is the role of aerosols in this transmission of the COVID, even to the extent of humidity and wind and temperature. These are all in a very, very, what you call preliminary stage. And I'm sure this data will, whatever data we're collecting now. And there is another thinking in some journals that this period has given missing data, like commercial flights are stopped, etc. So it might have impacted the weather forecasting to some extent. We don't know. We're not very sure. Some are thinking that maybe, some may not be, but I am not the right person to tell. So we requested Dr. Rajeevan about a fortnight back. I'm very thankful to him that he agreed to speak on this occasion. And he needs no introduction to this gathering. As we know, he is a meteorologist par excellence, and he has several seminal papers and also laurels to his credit, like he is the fellow of all the distinguished academies in the country and also fellow of IMS. And on the other hand, being the secretary to Government of India, and in a very responsible position, he is also in the know of the steps and important activities regarding the COVID-19 in the country. So I'm really thankful to him that he has agreed to speak on this occasion and a very relevant topic. I'm sure his presentation will be of utmost interest to all of us. And those who want to ask questions, our procedure here is that they can put on the chat mode, and we'll collect those, and I will try to ask those questions to Dr. Rajeevan on the behalf of the participants. And if Dr. Rajeevan agrees, then whatever time he has left, will continue after his presentation. Now I request Dr. Rajeevan to start his talk and presentation in the sharing mode. Thank you so much, Dr. Rajeevan.
So good afternoon, all of you. My greetings to all IMS members, distinguished IMS members. I'm extremely happy to talk to you on behalf of Indian Met Society on COVID and meteorology or environment. And Dr. Patnaik as well as Dr. Professor S.K. Dash has given you a kind of outline or briefing about the context of this presentation. So I may take about 30, 35, 40 minutes maximum for giving my presentation, and I will be happy to answer you. But I will be, as Dr. Patnaik was suggesting, that I will be talking only two important aspects, that how this COVID lockdown has really affected our environment, number one. Number two is whether that COVID lockdown has created any impact on meteorological observations globally, whether that has really caused any impact on our forecast for during the last 2-3 months. This is the two important aspects which I will be covering. Some of these results already I have presented during my talk during NGRI, organized presentation organized by NGRI. So I have updated a few results, and I will be presenting some new results also in this presentation. As Professor S.K. Dash was mentioning, that COVID has created plenty of opportunities for scientists to carry out research in India. As you know, that many scientific departments, like especially DBT, CSIR, DST, ICMR, all are now geared up for taking up a lot of research projects addressing the different aspects of COVID. For example, DST has started a new project on mathematical modeling of COVID, and it's kind of a national modeling effort involving many people. And so whether we can really predict how these disease outbreaks can proceed with time, and how we can, well in advance can we predict. And so that's one aspect. Then many institutions are working on finding new vaccines, especially for COVID, and also the basic research, basically research on COVID. And so they're given a lot of importance to scientific departments now, and they're all working very hard. And as far as MoES is concerned, we also have taken up two small projects, and one is the impact of, suppose Dash also mentioned that whether really the meteorology or environment is really have an effect on COVID spread, especially the spreading of COVID infection. For example, temperature, humidity. There was many papers are coming out saying that temperature, humidity, wind speed, etc., will have a role to play, especially in temperatures in COVID spread and COVID infection. And so we have set up a small team. IITM will be leading that group, and they'll be working on this aspect. Many results have already come, but I won't give a lot of importance to the results because there are a lot of uncertainties in those results. And at present, the suggestions are that more temperature and humidity should really slow down the infection rate or spreading of the COVID-19. But I'm not sure because it is spreading very fast in India, and also it's spreading fast in countries like Brazil, where it is a temperate country. And the second aspect is what I am going to speak now, and that is the impact of COVID-19 lockdown on environment. So again, IITM group will do a very exhaustive study, and they will come out with important results very soon. So these are the two initiatives which we have taken from our side, and I'm very sure some good results will come. In the meantime, I will give my presentations, and if any, as I said, if any questions, I can answer those questions. So let me see. Yeah. So I am talking about COVID-19 and meteorology or environment, and so greetings to all IMS members. And as you know that due to COVID-19 spread, all countries, not only India, implemented total partial lockdown in their countries, spanning many days and even months. The first lockdown in India started March 24 to April 14. Then around from 15 to May 3rd, then May 4th to May 17th, then again May 18 to May 31st. These are the 4 different phases. Now, from 1st June, we have many states have started removing this lockdown and slowly allowing activities to expand or to increase. And during this lockdown, especially the first 2, most of us were confined to our home. Very little essential service were only continued, and the factory, shopping malls, and restaurants were closed, and very few vehicles moved on the roads except for emergency or essential services. So, as I said in this presentation, I will talk about how the impact of lockdown on its environment and how the lockdown also has impacted the weather observations and forecasting. One is I will talk about the environment. The most important aspects when we talk about the environment could be the air pollution. The air pollution, when we talk, we will talk about the particular matter PM, so both the 2.5 as well as PM10. And another important air pollutant which will have impact, mainly because due to human activities, is a nitrogen dioxide, NO2. It's a nitrogen oxides and nitric acid as well as nitrogen dioxide, but I will be talking about nitrogen dioxide. And also I will tell you what is the importance of nitrogen dioxide. Then also there could be impact on sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and also surface ozone on the lower level. And it's when you talk about particulate matter, I think all of you must be knowing that there are two kinds of aerosols being emitted into the atmosphere. One is primary aerosols, secondary aerosol, and second is secondary aerosols. Secondary aerosols come from gas to aerosol chemical conversion, and primary aerosols are directly injected into the atmosphere. And when we talk about PM 2.5, and more than 95% of emissions from PM 2.5 come from diesel, petrol, or natural gas combustion, open waste burning, biomass burning, and also coal combustion at cook stoves and boilers falls under PM 2.5. PM 10.10 is little bigger aerosols, and mainly because of that's considered to be caused by human activities again. It's like dust, and it could be also dust raised by vehicle movement out from the roads, and also the construction sites, and also it could be natural activity like seasonal dust storms and create PM 10.0 to increase in the atmosphere. So when we talk about particulate matter, PM 2.5 and PM 10, and this is the different studies made by different groups on how much is the contribution for each activities by each activities, and suffer our MoES activity called suffer being done by ATM, Dr. Beg and his group, and they have done an estimate in 2018 which we released, and also there was an area released by Terry and also IIT Kanpur in 2016. Simultaneously, 2018 there was another released by Sarath Buddha, and he is working in Bangalore. So the basic result and the basic inference from these studies are all transport and road type dust industries, and these are all the power plants. These are all the important activities in Delhi which are responsible for increasing the PM 2.5 and PM 10, especially PM 2.5 for Delhi. And for example, this is a kind of a contribution done by different activities, like for example transport. And what is the percentage? PM 2.5 is around 17.9 to 39 point. Gives a big difference. There's a big variability. Industries are starting from 2 to 28.9. Power plants from 3 to 11. Road dust is from 18 to 38. Construction is from 2 to 8.4. So major contribution is coming from transport and industries. This is talking about Delhi, and this is data, very interesting data. How this daily stop activities. So the left-hand side shows the change in mobility from driving and walking, and you can see the big huge drop. And these are taken from Apple Maps, and it's all starting from 13th January. And up to 30th April, and you see that it's a beautiful drop after the lockdown has started, and so the basic human activity has stopped. And the right-hand side shows that how our activities in different places. For example, that is taken from that right-hand side data is taken from Google Maps, and which shows that retail and recreation activity has stopped, grocery and pharmacy has stopped, parks activities in city parks have stopped. Transit stations have stopped, workplaces stopped. Only the activity is increased is the residential, because we are all at our home. And these are the changes and PM 2.5 in different cities, starting from March 21 to April 20 April for last about 1 month later. Clear, because first lockdown was very serious because nobody was allowed to go out, and there was a lot of very minimal activities was allowed. And so you can see that the first one is for Delhi. You can see that the first histogram, first bar chart is for 2019, and the second one just below is 2020. You can see that a huge drop in activity, PM 2.5 in Delhi, and next is on Pune. The next one is for Bangalore, then Kanpur, then Ahmedabad, then Chennai. And last one is Patna, the last one is in Hyderabad. So everywhere the big drop has happened, especially in Ahmedabad and Delhi. The drop has been very large, and also to some extent Patna also the drop is very substantial. And right-hand side figure shows how much percentage in PM 2.5 changes occurred. Delhi about 61% in just 1 month, and Pune it's 54, and Bangalore is 33, and Kanpur 20, Kolkata 38, Ahmedabad 53, Chennai is 40, and Patna 27, and Hyderabad is almost 20%. And as I said, the nitrogen dioxide is an important atmospheric pollutant emitted by combustion processes, and it has a short lifetime of less than 1 day. So this means that molecules of nitrogen dioxide stay fairly close to their sources, especially from vehicles, etc. So it is an appropriate choice to look for changes in emissions. And if you really see the Delhi PM 2.5 NO2, you can see the left hand side is PM 2.5, but right hand side is NO2. It's also given by Sachin today, and it very clearly shows that NO2 also, the blue line is for 2019, from starting from 21st March. It's the daily values, and the red line shows the values in 2020. You can see a huge drop in NO2 activities, mainly because human activity, especially the transport sector, was not very active. And this is from this is already done, and so this is the satellite picture, atmospheric aerosol optical depth, and this is also taken by NOAA satellites. It's probably from MoES, and which clearly shows that the difference between 2020 to 2019, the year, same period but different years, 2020 minus 2019. You can see that they're all blue. The whole Indo-Gangetic plains, and especially now including Rajasthan, Gujarat, all are showing a negative sign. That means aerosol over this region was much less than 2019 compared to the during the same period. And so of course there could be year-to-year variation even otherwise, but definitely the lockdown has created a big impact on reduction in the aerosol content. This is again same kind of information presently declared in particulate matter, and also other gaseous pollutants in Delhi. And this is left hand side shows PM 10.0 and PM 2.5, and the right hand side shows ozone, and even surface ozone has decreased. Surface ozone also is a very dangerous pollutant, as all of you know that ozone in the stratosphere is good because it cuts off ultraviolet radiation from sun. But also in the surface is not really good. It's a health hazard, and so that is reduced a little bit, not much, during lockdown. And NO there is a big reduction, and as I said, even NO2 is a large reduction in. And this is the hourly variation matter taken from Delhi for different places for different periods. This also very 2019. You can see, and bottom one is 2019, and top one is for 2020, and you can see that there is a big difference. Of course, sorry, this is not Sachin today. Probably it is given by Dr. Soni, and you can see that the big increase in the dust during later period, but that's a natural process. But even otherwise, India lockdown during the India lockdown starting from Janata curfew, there was a drastic reduction in both the levels. And this is also same kind of figures, but this is taken from Sarath Guti. He is running a website called Urban Emissions .info, and he has done a good analysis of taking not only from SAFAR data, also from Central Pollution Board, and they have a huge network throughout India. So they have he has done a good analysis. It shows this is the same thing for Delhi PM 2.5 microgram per meter cube, starting from February 16 of 2020, go up to May 10. You can see that after the lockdown started, the how much PM 2.5 is reduced sharply. Of course, there's again day-to-day variations are there, but for example, before the lockdown, the average was 74. It is reduced to 42. And the second phase of lockdown, it was 46.5, and third phase, because some relaxation has come, so it has increased. You can see the last 4 data points. You can see that again. We already started PM 2.5. You can see that a big drop because Mumbai is very much vulnerable and very much affected by COVID, and there's serious restrictions in people's movement and also the general activities. So it has caused a huge drop, and for example, 30-day average before the lockdown was 45. It was reduced to 27.8 in the first phase of lockdown, and 23.3 on the second phase, and 22.6. So Mumbai has really caused a huge impact of PM 2.5. This is the Mumbai nitrogen dioxide. You can see that hardly any vehicles are moving, so you can see the huge difference. And the 30-day average before the lockdown was 37.5, and it was reduced to 9.8 in first 21 days, then 7.3 and 9.8. Serious, very, very appreciable reduction in nitrogen dioxide over Bombay. And same from the same blog, I took some more data for PM 2.5 for some more cities like Kolkata. The first one shows the data from before the lockdown has started, 30 days just before the lockdown, and the second is the first lockdown, the third is the second lockdown, and fourth is the third lockdown. You can see that Kolkata is reduced from 60.5 to 34.3, 17.2, 18.6. Navi Mumbai also is a serious, very, very appreciable drop. Ahmedabad also is a serious appreciable drop, and Bangalore also. So every year, most of the cities have experienced the big, huge drop of PM 2.5. And this is again North India MoES data. You can see that it is AOD at different, for different dates. And you can see that for different years also, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and also the 16 to 20 mean also is given as a dotted line. You can see that the 2020 is an appreciable drop in AOD, especially after the lockdown has started. This is taken from satellites, MoES Terra data. So it covers a large part of the northern part of the country. And this is again the data for Sentinel 5P data. It is again from satellite data. It is given by Dr. Vijay Soni. This left hand side is nitrogen dioxide tropospheric column, 12th March 2020, and the right hand side nitrogen dioxide tropospheric column after lockdown and before lockdown. You can see that there's a big difference in the NO2 column density is 10⁹ molecule per centimeter square. So this is very important study. And this is again by Dr. Vijay Soni has given this for the change in concentration of during 25th March to 28th April, how much black carbon has changed, etc. And this also has shown that black carbon has reduced sharply, and fossil fuel BC concentration also changed, and biomass BC concentration also changed. You can see the top right hand side, the histogram, which clearly shows the black carbon concentration and fossil fuel black carbon concentration and biomass black carbon concentration have reduced. And so the first one basically is the sum of fossil fuel plus biomass, and that is reduced sharply. And it is almost more than 100% drop. Some, of course, some days during this period there was a crop residue burning, which is well known in especially areas like Punjab and all, and especially Central India. This was very clearly shown. So that must have caused some increase, but otherwise there was a big drop of black carbon. And as all of you know that air pollution is an important aspect. So 3 years back, we have been told by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and also PM Office to set up an air pollution warning system for Delhi. And so IAGM has taken up their job. In addition to the existing SUFFER mechanism in which we give AQ forecast for next 2 to 3 days. So they wanted to have kind of a spatial distribution, etc. So we have set up a air quality early warning system for Delhi with the help from Govt, National Center for Atmospheric Research, US. We had MOU with them, and they have supported us in developing the modeling framework. And for the last 2 years, we have been working with this modeling system. And last year, our experience was it is too good, and still there are some issues, and there are some biases which ATMP group is working on that to improve further. And also we have plans for increasing this, improving this forecast. Now we are doing only for Delhi, so we will increase to other stations especially in the northern part of the country, where especially stations like Lucknow, Kanpur, etc., where the air pollution is a serious problem. So this is a very huge collaborative program which we did, and we are very happy that this air pollution warning system is well appreciated by people, general public, as well as Ministry of Environment and Forest. And so this is some results I taken from different publications. And this also shows not only in India, everywhere in the world, this has happened. This reduction in the air pollutants reduced. And this is China. Left-hand side showed China before first to 1 to 20 up to 2020, and next after just after 1 month, how China tropospheric NO2 density has changed. A huge drop, and the right-hand side shows the same thing for US. This is for Italy. You can see that it's all again nitrogen dioxide, and this is from Copernicus analysis of ISMWF, and the left-hand side shows that that's on 31st January 2020, and right-hand side shows 15 March of 2020. A serious drop, a huge drop of nitrogen dioxide taken over Italy and neighborhood. This is again NO2 from China, and you can see that the big difference after the lockdown, after the discovery of COVID infection, and after a few days there is a lot of lockdown and a lot of reduction in human activities that has caused substantial decrease in NO2. This is Wuhan, where famous COVID has spread, and the top clearly shows the NO2 level for different period 19, and the top bottom one shows the same for the same period for NO2. You can see that absolutely there is no NO2 there, hardly any NO2, because the whole Wuhan was closed down. And this is again for Europe, the same thing, actually substantial drop in air pollutant, especially NO2. So what we, and also the Professor S.K. Dash was mentioning about even the reduction in factories and transport sector and industries and all is really caused the reduction in greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide emission. And there is a good paper, it has come out very recently in Nature Climate Change. So I'll just briefly mention about this paper and some important results of even carbon dioxide, global carbon dioxide emission had impact from COVID post confinement or lockdown. And summary of the paper is government policies during the COVID-19 pandemic have drastically altered patterns of energy demand around the world. And many international borders were closed and populations were confined to their homes, which reduced transport and changed the consumption patterns. So they estimated about the daily global carbon dioxide emission decreased by about 17% by early April 2020 compared with the mean of 2019 level. And very important thing, just under half from changes in surface transport. So half of this reduction is come from surface transport. That means surface transport was not really active. And so about 17% drop in carbon dioxide emission, daily emission. And after at their peak, emission in individual countries decreased by almost 26% on average. And this is a very beautiful figure showing the change in activity and for different sectors like power, industry, surface transport, residential, and aviation. You can see that, and you can see that for different countries, you can see that the huge drop in activities on different sectors: power, surface transport, and residential and aviation. Residential has increased because especially in big cities, residential activities increased, but demand from power, industries, and surface transport, and including aviation. So there's a huge impact, and that has really caused a change in the activity percentage. And that has ultimately given rise to change in the percentage of carbon dioxide emission. And this is again change in activity in a tabular form. You can see the level 3 power is almost 15% difference, industry by 35, surface transport by 50, and public is 32.5. Residential has increased a little bit, 5% more. And aviation is a huge impact. The whole aviation activity flights were not there. About 75% change in the activity in the function of the in the confinement level. Confinement level is a typical our lockdown, India's lockdown, where no interstate movement, no district to district movement. All people are asked to sit at home, and that's a very serious one. And in some countries in Europe, they had a little relaxed lockdown, like level 1, level 2. So we should really think about level 3, where is the serious lockdown has to be implemented. And this is a beautiful figure which shows that the global daily fossil fuel carbon dioxide emission, you can see it's increasing with the time, and you can see the last dip by red color. Simply it's dropped by few values, and the right hand side shows the daily carbon dioxide emissions from January onwards. From during 2020, you can see that the huge drop of carbon dioxide emissions. It is yeah. So this also very clearly shows that last 2-3 months there is a large reduction in carbon dioxide emission, mainly because the aviation sector was down, and the industries were down, transport sector was not very active. So all put together, even there was a big impact in carbon dioxide emission. But that does not really is a good sign. But again, now activity has started everywhere. Lockdown has been relaxed many places, including big cities. Even in Europe and US, the activity has really started again. So this will pick up again. Carbon dioxide emission level will again go up. Flights are started. So this will pick up again. But reduction in carbon dioxide even last 2 to 3 months, whether it will really has a good impact in our general climate, my answer will be no, because there are short-term impact on carbon dioxide emission. And these are all not, unlike aerosol, which has a lifetime of 7 to 8 days. A sharp reduction in aerosol will have immediate impact on our climate, but carbon dioxide is not so. Even in a small reduction in some few days may not really help us to have an impact on climate, because the carbon dioxide, I understand that carbon dioxide has a lifetime of about 60 years. So carbon dioxide emitted in a few years back is still lying in the atmosphere, so that will have an impact on climate. So you cannot expect that a few small changes in carbon dioxide for last 2-3 months will have an immediate impact on our climate. But of course, again, it is picking up shortly. So this is again the same kind of information, how for different months, how much percentage changes occurred in carbon emissions, declines per region, China, India, Europe, and United States, and we can put other countries. A large reduction, especially in April and May. So lessons what we learned is human activities like road transport, power plants, industries contribute most of air pollution. I'm talking about Indian cities, major cities. So it is worthwhile for air pollution model to stress. So this is so what we observed during the lockdown is basically the background air pollutant level and background environment level. So probably it is a good time that for models to test whether we will predict this kind of air pollution level, very low level air pollution, and also this will be a good test bed for models to test and also fine tune each activities and see that what are the major activities which contributed to reduction in percentage contribution for different activities to reduce the air pollution level to this extent. So this is a good research test bed. So probably many people will be working, including MoES, especially in IIT scientists will be working on that. So it may be a good idea for government to implement work from home concept. And my personal remark, not frequently, work from home is always good. And we really enjoyed working from home, and because many of the activities we could do it through online. Even now also MoES is more actively participating in webinar as well as remotely working with people. Next week we have a promotion interview for MoES for 56 people will be interviewed for their promotions, and completely online. The first time that we are doing it, and we have taken permission from DOPT to conduct interviews online. So nobody will come on, except for few people from IMD to Delhi. Nobody will come on personally to the interview board. So, so this kind of practice now we should really increase it, and more activities, online activities should be increased. But for that, you need to really improve the IT infrastructure. So initially we have a lot of teething problems which we should remove it, and we should improve our IT infrastructure. So the final message is we need to adapt a new lifestyle, respecting our mother nature, and otherwise it can throw out a devastating experience like COVID-19 on us. So I will go to the next small part of impact of lockdown and how much lockdown has really created impact on meteorological observations. So this also was these observations, these details results were given by my good friends, colleagues from INSEMA-WF. I first start about Indian conventional observations, and the top one shows the Indian synoptic observations, how the observations were changed. And first, the red one is February 20, and blue one is green is March 20, and next is April, next is May. You can see that 3 and as you know that Indian synoptic observations, most of the observations we take at 3 and 12, and there is a small reduction in the synoptic observation. There was a reduction in synoptic observations even at 3 and 12, mainly because some people are not able to go. And some observatories are part-time observatories, so probably they must have not gone to the observatory to take observation. And even though we have been given permission, IMD was given special permission because IMD was considered as an essential service like any other organization like defense also. So we have been given special permission, but still we had little, not very serious one, but little restrictions in movement, especially from our staff, especially in the night observations. We had some problem, but the impact, as you see, that it's not very huge. But definitely there was a small reduction. Indian synoptic at 3 and 12 reduced by was 10% in March and April. And the bottom one shows the daily variations are reported observation. You can see that the 3 and the 12 are always high. And there is a big drop in sometime that is due to technical issue of INSEMA-WF, and later due to dip due to our movement. And this is the radio zone observation. We took a very careful decision to reduce the number of radio zone observatories taking observations in India. We have about 50 plus observatories, but we reduced it mainly because we don't know how long this lockdown will do and when the activities will start. And most of these radio zone instruments coming from abroad. So we have limited stock, and monsoon season is come already. So we took a decision that during pre-monsoon season and especially during non-cyclone days, we can reduce the number of observations to conserve our stock in the radio zone. So it's very unfortunate decision we took, but which is very clearly shown that number of observations were reduced during the lockdown period, radio zone. And also this is a pilot burn observation. There was a small drop, and mainly because people could not really move. And the global observations also there was, of course, I will not go in detail about all the observations, but the huge impact was aircraft observation. As all of you know that aircraft flying, especially in Europe and US, they take a lot of observations and pass on to us. Recently, we had IMD has signed a MoE with Indigo, and Indigo will be taking observations and sending to IMD. So this kind of aircraft observations are very valuable, especially in the their flying level. And so that is sharply reduced because most of our flights were cancelled, including in Europe and US. So mainly aircraft observation count reduced due to global lockdown. Easily you can see that, and you can see the number of observations. So 70% reduction in aircraft observation has started. The left-hand side shows that the data on 1st March 2020, and right-hand side shows that 30th. Except in US, most of the flights from, especially in Europe as well as in other countries, especially in the southern hemisphere, there were not many flights were operated. So there's a huge reduction in aircraft observations, about 70% reduction of global aircraft observations. And I was told that BCMWF showed some impact, especially at the on temperature and temperature at the flight level, about 200 up to 300 Pascal level, and but probably not the effect is not clearly seen in the surface observation, surface forecast, especially surface temperature or surface precipitation. But during this period, INSEMA-WF was very lucky to have cosmic GPS RO data. It's very valuable data. So this was most of this flight of aircraft observation, missing aircraft observation, also radio zone observations were compensated by this cosmic GPS RO data. Now, IMS will also getting, you may be remembering a new satellite launched by European people on getting the vertical profile of winds. It's got a news, and that satellite data is now becoming operational. So IMS will start assimilating that data, and ECMW shown because it gives you a vertical profile of wind, which we badly needed, and so that will give an important input to the NCMW data simulation package. And I'm very sure that next few months that will have a huge impact in our forecast. I'm very sure that news observations will give huge impact on our forecast skill. And this is again, you can see the view how the global observations, SAMDAR observations were dropped by lockdown. And this is the last figure which I'll show from NCMW. You can see the reduced impact of aircraft and temperature in March, and this is the impact of observations on NCM forecast. They have a sensitivity test which they can do it, and using using their model and testing each parameter, each sensor data, each instrument data, how it is impacting the forecast. So they could do the analysis. They already published a good paper and Quarterly Journal of Royal Mail Society, and they found mostly that most of these vertical profiles are, especially from satellites, give you a better skill, better impact, more impact than any other sensor data. And they did an experiment, and they found the reduced impact of aircraft and temperature, temp data, sorry, not temperature, temp data in March and April 2020. And the right-hand side shows that especially root mean square of wind during January to March is relatively low compared to 2019. And it has a small effect on RMSEF wind in April 2020. So small impact was seen by reduction of meteorological observations in our forecast. But I'm very sure that now lockdown has eased out, and more and more observations will be taken up, and it is supported by satellite observations. As all of you know that out of 100 observations which go into the satellite, into modeling data simulation package, almost 90 data from satellite. So satellites are not affected by lockdown, so we get a lot of good data from satellites. So this conclusion is there's an impact of meteorological observation due to lockdown, appreciable drop in the aircraft observations reported. Conventional observatories also reduced due to IMD decisions. However, no serious impact on so far on quality and accuracy of forecast. No serious impact. There was an impact, but not very serious. The lockdown experience says that we should have all meteorological observation to be made more automatic, but very reliable. Automatic doesn't mean that it has to work, but it has to give you wrong data. It has to be very reliable data. As you know, the ocean observations, most of the ocean observations are always automatic, and so we need to really change our observational network, our atmospheric observation network, to be a little more automatic than depending on human observations. So this is my last comment, and I'll stop here. So I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajeevan. It was excellent. You covered all aspects of environment, data observation, and the impact on the forecasting, etc. There's a lot of information and very good insight. Can I ask, based on the questions, there are a lot of questions on the chat, and I have read some of those. Can I select 3-4 questions and ask you?
Yeah, another 5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes, I can answer.
Okay, thank you so much. So there is one interesting.
What you can do is, even if you have more questions, you can put it on paper, on a soft copy, and send it to me on email. I'll be able to answer it.
Thank you so much. That will be excellent. So that we can put it on the IMS
web page, and when people can see that.
That will be fantastic. Thank you so much. So a couple of questions I will just ask now. One is written, very interesting question, that as the atmospheric obstacles have reduced during this lockdown, and the surface reaching solar irradiance level has increased probably. What impact it has on the PBL, on the SST, number one? and also on the another question talks about the micro urban level PBL dynamics.
Actually, it's definitely it's a good question. When atmospheric pollutants are reduced, the solar radiation reaching at the surface will increase. Definitely will increase, and so definitely the solar radiation must have gone up. So, but frankly speaking, we did not analyze it. But I am very sure that IMD has a good network of solar radiation. Probably people like Vijay Soni and all can analyze that data and show us saying that how much increase in solar radiation has happened. But as you know, that solar radiation is also controlled by many other factors, like for example clouding, etc. So you may have to be very careful. But definitely, a reduction in pollution level will increase the surface temperature. That is very sure. And also when Arabian Sea and also the Bay of Bengal was forming up, and when Umphan and Nisarga cyclone came, there were some suggestions in the media, social media, saying that these are all mainly because the pollutant level has reduced, so that must have caused additional SST, increase in additional SST. I'm not refuting it, but then we should show it very quantitatively that it has really increased. So I can accept the hypothesis in principle, but then we should really test it with the data and show that really the reduction in atmospheric pollutant level, especially over sea. I'm talking about sea surface temperature, especially over ocean, has reduced. Somebody should do a calculation, and with the pre-lockdown and after lockdown, how much difference is in the air pollutant level, the atmospheric pollutant level in the oceans, and how much that has really contributed to increase in SST. They should do a calculation and show. But I agree that it could be.
Yeah, there is another similar question about this cyclone. There's a question that whether the lockdown has helped in having these type of cyclones, because these are all rare and happening after a long time over the Arabian Sea. So the two cyclones, one after another, whether it has any remote connection with the lockdown?
No. I'll quickly answer no.
Okay, correct. Thank you so much. Another question is that about similar about the pollutants, irradiants, etc. What impact on the local level convection? Will it have local level convection, impact on local level convection? And then at a larger scale, another question comes related to that. At the larger scale, whether a system like monsoon will be ever affected by these small changes in this during this time, 4 months time.
So local convection, for example, if air pollutants reduce, you get more solar radiation, and it can increase temperature, so convection can increase provided you have a lot of humidity. So that can give rise to more thunderstorms. That can happen. But I'm not very sure. I'm sure that it will not have an impact on monsoon.
One question
is a very broad scale, large scale circulation system, and local effects like the small reduction in air pollutants may not be really affecting large scale circulation.
One thing is about the coastal. So I want to put that question to you on the coastal water quality. Due to COVID-19 lockdown in India and climate change, coastal water quality might have changed. So we have to monitor the coastal water quality and compare the previous before lockdown data set.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I did not say that even Ministry of Environment Forest is doing a lot of water quality measurements, especially on rivers. So I have seen that data which was given by IMD people, and they very clearly show that water quality level has improved, especially in Yamuna and Ganga rivers, and not very appreciably, but definitely there is a increase, especially the oxygen level has increased in Yamuna and Ganga rivers. And especially on seawater quality, we have a program run by our center in Chennai, National Center for Coastal Research. They have been doing it, and I asked the same questions to them, saying that did you see any big impact? And so what normally they do is they physically go there, take the water, and bring to the lab and do the observations and see. And that due to lockdown, they were not able to go. And but last few days back they have gone. Once the relaxation has come, and they have taken over a small ship, and they are doing that. Probably after a few days, such results will come out. So we are doing the coastal water quality analysis, and some results will come out very soon.
Yeah, thank you. So I will compile all these questions and send to you as you told. But one last question is that since many young researchers and students are participating here and listening to you, can you just give some emphasize certain research projects to them which they will take up? They can take up after this because as you know, ACRB and MoES also and many other departments are encouraging the young scientists to go for COVID-related research. So can you give some hints about because of the benefit of the youngsters?
Yeah, we are not really seriously thought about it, but I'm very sure that it's a good suggestion that we will do that, because I thought DST and SARB has launched many such programs for increasing the research proposals and also inviting research proposals, especially related to COVID. I thought the SARB will take care, but which is some people may be more interested in work closely on impact on environment, especially on environment. So MoES will be happy to make a proposal, or call for proposal for inviting proposals from research community in India who want to do really good work on COVID and related activities, especially on environment and monsoon, etc. So we'll be happy. So we'll soon call a proposal for research proposal from different universities.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that all are benefited and enjoyed your talk. Now I'll request Dr. Patnaik to give a vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks. Dr. Patnaik, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. It is my privilege to give formal vote of thanks. First of all, I am very thankful to today's speaker, Dr. M.N. Rajeevan, sir, for spending valuable time and accepting our invitation to give such a wonderful talk. And I was going through the chat box. It has generated a lot of interest. Many questions have arisen, and this is a very good topic today. And fitting to the theme of this was a very useful talk. And thank you very much, sir. I also express my sincere thanks to Dr. S.K. Das, sir, for guiding this how to arrange this talk in this on Environment Day. And we are also thankful to Director IITM, DG IMD for the support, and the technical team from IITM and MoES, and also from IMD. Many people have worked for technical support, providing support to IMS for arranging these seminars. We are thankful to all of you. And we also will be holding this such seminar in future as this lockdown and all these things are now continuing. So we will like to convey our sincere thanks to all the viewers, those who attended today's webinar. And finally, I thanks to all the viewers and all the members and also the scientists. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. See you next time in next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajeevan. Thank you all. Thank you all, and it's closes now.